Now at 5, the city of Joplin's wrapping up its survey on homelessness in the community. Plus, the Missouri governor signs a bill banning texting while driving. And the U.S. announces more military aid for Ukraine, this time in the form of a controversial weapon.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Time is running out for Joplin area residents, business owners, and all interested in participating in the city's survey related to homelessness. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The survey is part of a homeless study. Its goal is to identify different organizations and services available for this population to come up with a better plan on how to coordinate those services. The deadline to turn in that survey is July 14th, a week from today. Right now, the city faces a big challenge. There is no space in the homeless shelters and also no low-income housing available between Newton and Jasper counties.
We have 75 people who've been approved for housing assistance. They either have rental assistance approved for them or a housing voucher. They're out looking, that can't lease up anywhere. There isn't enough affordable housing for people. That is one huge barrier.
So we'll take that information, interpret it, try to determine, what are the impediments for individuals experiencing homelessness? Why are they in that situation? What are the resources and the opportunities to get them out of that situation?
The Homeless Coalition estimates there are more than 250 homeless people in Jasper and Newton counties, with most of them living in Joplin. Last week, more than 850 responses to that survey were submitted. Again, the deadline is 1 week from today. You'll find a link to that online survey through our website, koamnewsnow.com. Tonight at 9 and 10, the stories and challenges of 2 homeless men living in Joplin and more on what's being done. Texting while driving will soon be illegal in Missouri. Governor Parson has signed a bill banning handheld cell phone use while driving. That includes texting, scrolling, or otherwise holding your phone while behind the wheel. It does still allow for the use of hands-free features like talk to text and speaker modes. It also makes an exception for emergency situations. The new law takes effect on August 28th. Southeast Kansas artists come together today to get to know one another and discuss their work. Pittsburgh Arts Council and the Kansas Creative Arts Industries Commission hosted a regional meetup at Block 22 in Pittsburgh. Organizers say it's a chance for artists and art enthusiasts to connect and network. Officials also discussed statewide initiatives and upcoming events.
So networking is really important. We're gathering today with other arts councils. We're going to spitball some ideas. We're going to brainstorm and try to come up with some creative ways to showcase artists and art organizations in the area.
One of the events discussed with the Kansas Arts Council's Symposium, which will take place in October in Salina. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, not a bad day for us today. A lot of clouds across the region. We have had at least a few scattered little showers out there, mainly during the afternoon. You can see them in our far western counties, and then a couple starting to pop up in southwestern Missouri. So we are going to have hit and miss storms as we go through the evening hours. You can see these little guys just south of Nevada, and then mainly Independence, Bartlesville points west. But we actually have a better chance for more widespread rain later on tonight. So thunderstorms southwestern Missouri throughout the evening hours, and then as we go into the overnight hours tonight. So this is after midnight, a bigger batch of showers and thunderstorms roll in. Our northern counties, not much. It's mainly going to be the southern half of the region, but at least we have these chances for showers and thunderstorms lasting into the morning hours. Of course, we're going to look at the weekend here in just a bit.
See you soon. The U.S. is providing more military aid to Ukraine, but this shipment will include a controversial type of weapon. Reporter Willie James Inman explains from Washington.
These are cluster munitions, which detonate dozens of submunitions called bomblets. The Biden administration announced it will supply thousands of them to Ukraine.
With this announcement, we will be able to provide Ukraine with hundreds of thousands of additional artillery ammunition immediately.
The cluster munitions are controversial because unexploded bomblets could harm civilians during and after a war. More than 120 countries banned the weapon, but U.S. officials say the munitions sent to Ukraine will have a lower dud rate, which means fewer unexploded bombs that could hurt civilians.
The DPICM ammunition we are delivering to Ukraine will consist only of those with a dud rate less than 2.35%. Compare that to Russia, which has been using cluster munitions across Ukraine with dud rates of between 30 and 40%.
The new military aid package totals $800 million. In addition to ammunition, it also includes armored vehicles.
We base our security assistance decision on Ukraine's needs on the ground. And Ukraine needs artillery to sustain its offensive and defensive operations.
Ukraine has repeatedly asked for cluster munitions as the country's troops struggle to make substantial headway against Russian forces. U.S. officials say Russia already uses them in civilian areas. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Officials say the U.S. could eventually run low on regular munitions, so this decision will ensure there is no gap in providing the weapons. The United Nations has asked both Russia and Ukraine to avoid using cluster bombs. A white supremacist who killed 23 people and wounded 22 others at an El Paso, Texas Walmart in 2019 was sentenced today to 90 consecutive life terms in prison. 24-year-old Patrick Crusius pleaded guilty in February to nearly 50 federal hate crime charges after federal prosecutors took the death penalty off the table, although he could still face the death penalty in a separate case in a Texas state court that has not yet gone to trial. Crusius did not speak during the hearing and showed no reaction as the verdict was read. Still ahead, the latest jobs numbers.
The new jobs report shows employment is up, but hiring is slowing down. I'm Natalie Brand with what it means for the economy overall.
And next in Health Watch, how first responders are using virtual reality to train for disaster situations. Topping today's Health Watch, researchers in the UK are trying to determine how hot is too hot for humans. Looking at factors like the body's energy consumption as temperatures rise and how heart function is affected by the heat, they determined it too hot is somewhere between 104 and 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's not clear whether humans can adapt further to the rising danger of extreme heat. New virtual reality tools are helping train first responders for whatever disasters come their way, from mass shootings to earthquakes. These high-stress events are sporadic and difficult to replicate, but as Michael George reports, a new cutting-edge VR program in Ohio puts first responders right at the scene.
So you've got an injury here to your arm. We're going to put this tourniquet on you.
It's the kind of thing no first responder wants to encounter in real life, but must be ready for.
You're the only provider en route right now. You have reinforcements coming in about 10 minutes.
Through a headset, participants in this virtual reality training program are placed right in the middle of a subway bombing.
Can you lie on your back?
Trainees can move about the scene and triage victims who interact through artificial intelligence.
I liked how you recognized that she was probably the sickest.
Dr. Nicholas Kaman is an emergency medicine physician at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center and leads the VR initiative.
There needs to be better hands-on training for first responders. So when they're in virtual reality, it feels very realistic to them that they're actually taking care of real victims.
West Licking firefighter and paramedic Anthony Walsh took a run at it.
Screaming in the background, sirens, lots of loud noises. The light was dim. That really added on to the depth of training.
The injuries, number of victims, and conditions can all be modified. Participants are scored on their performance and debriefed after.
Many of them might want to go back in and try a harder scenario. So there is a gamification piece to this.
But with the number of mass casualty incidents rising, the consequences are very real and critical. Michael George, CBS News.
The Ohio State University College of Medicine plans to expand the program and license the software for other agencies to use. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, an annual tradition kicked off today in Spain. We're going to check out this year's running of the bulls.
Plus, we do have some thunderstorm chances for us tonight. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, another day, we've had a lot of clouds across the region and a few scattered showers out there. Most of us have ended up on the dry side for us today. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, mostly cloudy skies at this point in time. And that is what we're going to see as we go through the evening hours. Temperatures, not bad. Most of us mid to upper 80s across the region, 89, Stockton 81, and Bonita 70s. Western counties where their clouds are a little bit thicker. But you can see here's 7th, here's range line, and we do have cloudy skies across the area. Sitting at 88, dew point of 72, pressure is slowly dropping. Throughout the evening hours, hit miss storms this evening. Better chances, especially after midnight for us tonight. Let me show you why. We got a few, really a dying band of showers and thunderstorms in our far western counties, and then a few guys starting to pop up in southwestern Missouri. So these are going to be very hit and miss as we go through the next several hours. We can track southeastern Kansas. You can see a little bit of light showers, Independence over towards Sedan, Nowata, Bartlesville, and then we have a little cluster of thunderstorms just north of Nevada up towards Sheldon, Lamar. These will kind of fire up a little bit more as we go through the evening hours and then kind of shift south and east. Out to the west, here's another band, panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, and that's going to be really the band that gives us better chances for thunderstorms later on tonight. High pressure in charge, and these little waves are just jumping over that high pressure. And we're actually going to get a cold front that rolls through as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So evening scattered storms, then pretty quiet until about midnight. Thunderstorms start popping up on the Kansas side and then pushing east with the heaviest along the Kansas and Oklahoma state line. Some of these storms in our southern counties, they could pack a punch. I think most of them will stay below severe limits, but we can't rule out a random severe storm. Let's go into Saturday morning, 8 a.m. We start the day with scattered storms, and then as we go through the day, it really kind of dry out. We'll get a little bit of sunshine late in the day, but look at our temps. Kind of nice, mainly into low to mid 80s across the region. Tomorrow night, another band drifts just to our south, but our southern counties, you guys may get a few thunderstorms. I really think everybody else is mainly dry. And then a few isolated thunderstorms try to pop up early Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon, not bad. High temps mainly into the middle 80s. So our best chance for rain is actually going to be tonight. It's not going to be extremely widespread, but a lot more widespread than what we've seen over the past couple days. Heaviest amounts right through northeastern Oklahoma into extreme southwestern Missouri. Northern counties, unfortunately, not that much rain. All right, 84 tomorrow, 85 on Sunday. Morning storms, could get a few random storms once again for us as we go into tomorrow night. And then as we go into next week, look at this, the heat starts to pump back in for the middle of July. 84 for us tomorrow, 85 Sunday, 93 on Monday. We should get a batch of storms Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday dry, and then hit and miss storms late next week. But look at the temps. 99 Wednesday, 101 Thursday, 102 on Friday. So it really gets hot again.
I'd rather not look.
I know.
Boy, bring on the rain.
We need a little bit.
You bet. Thanks, Doug. Thousands of thrill seekers, many from the U.S., are taking part in this year's Running of the Bulls in Spain. The centuries-old tradition draws massive crowds, and already at least 6 people have been injured. Reporter Tina Kraus has more.
The Bulls are back. And so are the crowds for the thrill of the chase in the Spanish city of Pamplona.
That cannon goes and people start running, and all of a sudden you're in a dead sprint.
Alec Levick flew in from the U.S. to join thousands of daredevils from all over the world at the annual Running of the Bulls.
People are falling, the bulls are running right past you. Those things are big. It's crazy.
As the 1,000-pound bulls charge through crowds on the narrow cobbled streets for more than half a mile, some, like Will Mojo from Austin, struggle to stay standing.
I came around the turn, my foot slipped, and I just ate it on the ground, and I found myself in the middle of the street.
At least 6 people were injured, but no one was gored. Activists have long protested the tradition, calling it cruelty to animals. The same bulls that run are later killed in the ring during professional bullfights. Friday's bull run signifies the start of the famous Festival of San Fermin, a 9-day party revelers call the best fiesta in the world. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
4 runners were gored in the festival last year. 16 people have died in bull runs since 1910, most recently in 2009. Coming up, a look at the June jobs report and what it shows about our economy. Topping today's Consumer Watch, farmers who believe they face discrimination from the Department of Agriculture can now seek financial relief from a new program. They need to fill out an application and show they received unfair treatment from USDA lending programs before 2021. The maximum payout is $500,000. But a department official says applicants are unlikely to receive that much. The program is for farmers, forest landowners, and ranchers, and it covers a list of potential discrimination categories. The job market remains strong, but hiring is slowing down. Reporter Natalie Brand has results of a new report.
17-year-old Hadley Boggs is now part of the workforce. She got her first ever summer job scooping ice cream.
I hope to save for college and also have some fun money on the side.
The economy continues to bring on workers, adding 209,000 jobs in June, a historically strong number, but less than expected. And revised data for May and April shows hiring was weaker than previously estimated. Still, the unemployment rate remains near an all-time low at 3.6%.
Is the job market slowing down?
The job market remains quite robust, but the pace of hiring is moderating.
Bankrate senior economist Mark Hamrick says workers are making more. Wages are up 4.4% over the past year, which is slightly higher than the annual rate of inflation.
It doesn't mean that workers feel like they're ready to high-five each other in the sense of having won the battle against inflation, but it means that that balance has somewhat shifted back more favorably to workers.
But when people have more money, they tend to spend more, which can fuel inflation, and that remains a major concern for the Federal Reserve.
Inflation, with the rates running well above the Fed's target of 2%, the Fed looks at that and says, oh, we still have more work to do.
Economists believe that means the Fed will raise interest rates again at the end of the month, hoping it brings inflation further down. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
The new report shows the healthcare industry brought on 41,000 jobs in June. Construction added 23,000 positions. More American women than ever before are back at work. Data shows nearly 77.8% of women between the ages of 25 and 54 were in the workforce last month. That is an all-time high. In February of 2020, the labor force participation rate for prime working age women was 77%, just shy of the record 77.3% set during the dot-com era leading up to the pandemic. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, why a dangerous heat wave in the western U.S. is set to get worse. Then on KOAM News at 6, details of a lawsuit filed by the Kansas Attorney General over changing the gender listed on a driver's license. Plus, we're going to learn about an area faith-based program helping people battling substance abuse issues. And the Mink League announces the roster for this year's All-Star Game. We're going to see which Joplin Outlaws and Nevada Griffins made the cut. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. All right, a new study has found that snakes have a unique behavior, what they thought was unique, but it's actually similar to one found in humans. They comfort each other when stressed. Researchers with the journal Frontiers in Ethology studied rattlesnakes in stressful situations. They found those with companions had lower heart rates compared to those poor snakes who were alone. This response, called social buffering, has never been recorded in reptiles until now. Okay, snakes might find comfort from the presence of other snakes, and humans from the presence of other humans. I think relatively few humans find more comfort in the presence of snakes, however.
I got bit by a rattlesnake in high school, so.
I don't like them.
I'm sure his heart rate was high and mad at that
yeah,
point in
he
time.
was upset,
Yeah.
as were you, yeah.
All right, a few thunderstorms for us tonight. High temp tomorrow, 84.
See you right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.